And thank you and good evening, everyone. My name is Geoffrey Rono. I'm the CEO Iansoft Technologies, and I'm going to take you through this presentation. So I'm meant to speak about the ERP implementation that has brought in efficiency at the National Cereals and Produce Board. And then I'll speak from a service provider's perspective, and this would be our agenda. So I'll take you through that, but because of time, I'll try and summarize some of the slides into one, and we'll be able to share this slide on our profile. So I'm Geoffrey Rono, the CEO, founder and director at Iansoft Technologies, and computer information systems professional and project management professional with over 18 years experience and having worked in over 8 different countries across the globe. And with a few certifications around project management and CMMI, and then the technology, which is Microsoft. We were established in 2013, headquartered in Nairobi, currently with over 20 staff, over 11 products, and over 40 success stories. Some of the other solutions that we offer other than the ERP include the circle management systems, CRM, BI, and analytics software, but not to the level of multi-choice data science, document management solutions, and call center solutions. And now back to what we offered for NCPB and what has brought in the transformation. As you know, government organizations, we always know the history about investment in technology and the challenges they have. These are projects that we anticipated that it was going to take us roughly 12 months. We ended up spending 18 months. We saw changes in top leadership. You all remember what happened at NCPB a few years ago. We've had 4 different CEOs through this implementation, and 3 different CIOs through the implementation. So you can imagine all that change that comes with that, with one implementation, and you only digressed by a few months. So the initial intention was to do an ERP, which was basically financials and procurement, sales, and maintenance, engineering, and manufacturing. But then the vision grew, and we ended up even delivering a CRM on top of the ERP. We delivered alternate channels where we have an intranet and an extranet. We have a DMS, which is based on Microsoft SharePoint. We have the Power BI for analytics, and we have an employee self-service portal. And recently, we've integrated to the warehouse receipt system council, which is a government body that was established through an act of parliament, and mainly to ensure food sustainability. This is more of like a joint warehouse, where if you have your 1 ton of extra maize, you just deposit with them, and you're given a card saying you owe 1 ton. So they don't pay you. If you decide to come for this 1 ton next year, then they will recover your 1 ton. So it's more of a centralized solution. So the project was conceived because these guys had been in ERP implementations, and they'd had a previous implementation, which ran for 9 years, still in implementation mode, and everybody was getting fatigued. And there was lack of transparency. We had silos where people are holding information. We had different sets of departments deciding how things should be done. And also they wanted to ensure business process engineering and standardize their processes. So we were able to come in with the main objective of achieving an efficient quality of service. That was the bottom line, and to standardize the operations. So we went through a process, and we were able to involve entirely the whole organization. We had representation from the board. We had representation from senior management, mid-level management, and the wider base, which is the operations team, which includes finance, procurement, sales and marketing, and farmer management, warehouse, manufacturing, maintenance, transport, HR, and payroll. And this is a widespread organization having stations across the country, covering 110 branches with over 1,000 employees. So the enormity of the implementation was huge, and it was quite a complex process. which had to be phased down into the various sections, of course, identification, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closure. Some of these processes will run end to end, the heavy work being through the execution. Being government, again, artifacts are very key. You have to show proof of work. You have these inspection certificates, which we had to break down. We had an inception report on kickoff. We had a requirement documents after analysis. We had a design document after design. We had a UAT sign-off after deployment. We had a training sign-off after training. Go live, we also had a project sign-off. And then, of course, the post-go live sign-off. So what did we do different, and why did we achieve the desired results? One, I would say the proper resources. Ensure you have the right team members on your team. We had people who are experienced, certified in the different areas, not just in project implementation and development, but also in project management and quality assurance. We employed a very good methodology, which is among what we have just shared up. And we also employed a very good change management approach, which was more of a process. So apart from just taking the requirement, we also offer ERP advisory, so that we're not just computerizing every process. We were able to cut down some processes from 14 documents to 4 documents. We're able to reduce the number of approval levels in some processes. So we've actually assisted them to streamline, and we aligned with their business processes, which they were business engineering processes which they were doing. During the training, we had to break down the training. We had different team to train the technical guys who are the system administrators. We had a team of the faster users who are now like the champions and the super users. We had a team of management, which was a separate team also being trained all together. And now the trainer of trainers who would go to the field. So being a countrywide project, we had to break them into regions. So these TOTs went to the various regions and ensured that they cascaded the training that we had done. Again, maybe it was lucky, and you cannot dispute the fact that local support is key, because most of these implementations, some being done remotely, can be a challenge. So having resources locally and having people to go to the ground, and even at times to even support the TOTs, was also one of the key success factors. So we've seen major outcomes through this implementation. And of course, first we had the improved service experience, then enhanced competitiveness. At least for the first time, we have a government institution which is profitable. We have enhanced quality and effectiveness, and they have recently, in August, after this long process, been certified, having ISO certification 9001-2015. They've also had reduced cost of operations. They've had better decision making because of the availability of data, and also maximum return on investment, because they are now seeing the fruits of the implementation. So we went live on the ERP by January, went live on BI thereafter by March, and by May we were done with CRM, and finally the climax was the ISO certification at NCPB. So with that, I would like to end my presentation and say thank you, and hope we can all learn from this. Thank you.